Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. After national impacts late last week, everyone now has heard the name CrowdStrike. But the county of Monterey was also affected by this incident, and a lot was going on behind the scenes to resolve what happened and to keep county services running. We're very pleased to have our county's Chief Information Officer, Eric Chatham, here to talk about what happened and how the county has recovered. Hi, Eric. Thanks very much for being here.
Hi, Maya. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon.
I'm wondering if you could start by talking about what was happening at the county before this happened. It sounded like everything was just normal, and then boom, it happened.
So correct. It was business as usual. There was nothing happening that was unusual that we could prepare for this type of event. This was a global event, as everybody's aware, if you've read any of the news articles, and it impacted all devices that were running Windows operating system and the CrowdStrike endpoint security management product, which is one of the top tier products in the industry. And the impact began at approximately 10 p.m. that we saw it, but it actually was from a delivery from the CrowdStrike vendor to our devices at about 9 o'clock that evening.
I'm wondering if you could just tell us, what is CrowdStrike?
Just as background. CrowdStrike's our endpoint management software, so it's what protects us. I call it from the bad actors out there. It keeps our devices from getting impacted by ransomware or from having malicious code. It keeps any type of malware from being brought onto our local devices and machines. It's used, as you saw, it's used globally, and it is one of the top tier products out there for doing that type of work.
All right, so you ran through what was happening prior to this, and then when it hit, how did ITD respond when this happened?
So we have an on-call setup that's in there, and we were notified very quickly by the fact that some of the workstations were being impacted. The on-call engineer quickly was able to start doing some triage and noticed that this was not just workstation related. It was actually, we could see from some of our servers that were being impacted right away. So we have an incident response process. They instituted that process, which notifies what we call our duty manager, which then brings in a broader team. Many of that team is sitting right here. It's our security team, our network team, our systems team, and then all of our different remediation teams for communication. So we start notifying management. I was notified in the very early hours, about shortly after midnight, about what we're seeing as the impact and what we're doing. So we had already, by the time we knew this was happening, had started building a plan for how we're going to remediate and bring the county back. I'm going to call it back to life so we can be in operations by Friday morning.
And people just don't realize how critical ITD is to all the county operations that we provide to the public. So what was affected once you've done your triage and you saw what was happening? What was affected by this?
So primarily what was impacted were all workstations and our local servers. And let me talk a little bit about what wasn't impacted, because they don't either run the Microsoft product or they're in locations that wouldn't have been impacted. Our county phone system was not impacted. Our computer-aided dispatch, which is our 911 service, were not impacted. Our ERP system, which does all our budgeting, our HR, payroll, and our accounting system, was not impacted. Our permitting and environmental health which is called a CELA, which works for environmental health and housing and community development, was not impacted. Our Legistar system for all our public meetings and agendas were not impacted. So a lot of our core business processes were up and running. What was impacted were approximately 5,400 workstations and servers, which are what most county users use to get into these systems. But we also have secondary, most of these individuals also have phones that run their mail system on it, and we can do about 90% of the county business over our cell phones as well. So we were able to stay functioning while we started doing the remediation. And so during the evening, what this team was doing was actually bringing up all the servers that support the businesses out there so that by 8 o'clock, when normal business hours starting with the county and a lot of the county offices, they were going to be able to operate. And then we had staff rolled to all the different buildings and business locations so that we could start bringing their workstations up as soon as they got into the office.
So this went on Friday, and we know there was work happening throughout the weekend. When were all the devices that you were working on able to come back online? And, are there any residual effects that you're still working on?
Yes. So we've had we've touched almost north of 4,000 devices. About 4,200 devices have been hit through the weekend and through Monday. What we are doing now is any device that was turned off during this time or individuals that were not available during the week because they're on vacation or holiday or out sick, we will be remediating those as soon as they show up, as soon as they show up into the offices so that we can actually get to those. But we've got, by Monday morning, we were pretty much had, I'm going to say, the core staff that's in working up and functional and operational.
So this really is a testament to the work that ITD has done to make sure that should something happen, there's a team ready to roll out, you know what to do. Any changes that you're looking at in the wake of what happened to security or anything else? Because you sure don't want this to happen again.
No, the hard part about it, and I don't like to say this, but I will. This will happen again. This was out of our control. We don't. When we use leverage applications like this that are SaaS-based applications that have either auto updates that are what we call out of band, meaning that we expect them to do that, especially from a security product. They may get a notification of, we have something that's going to potentially impact all of your systems. We need to do something now. That is part of the trust relationship and why we buy top tier products to do this type of work. But we did learn some things around, that we can improve. We'll do a full root cause analysis process, which basically we'll walk through the whole event, what worked, what didn't work. A lot of the things are really, and you live in this world, it's communication. When we leverage email to communicate and no workstations are able to get to email, we need to make sure that everyone has their phones to have access to email. We need to look at out of band communications, things around, texting for alerting so we can notify folks kind of immediately and instantly that we've got a bigger problem that needs your attention, and your normal system isn't going to be able to get to it. So stay on this channel. So this is the process that we go through on any type of outage event that we have within the county.
And I sure would like you to give a shout out to your hardworking team, because they just were on it when this happened. And I'm not sure how many hours, if you got any sleep.
Yeah, there are quite a few people up for quite a few hours. So, and I appreciate all of the staff. We also leveraged heavily the other departmental IT organizations so that we could hit the masses quickly and elicited their help and support. And everyone leaned in on this event to make sure that we were up and running. So I want to thank all of the ITD staff and all of the IT departmental staff that were assisting across the county to make sure that everyone was up and running as quickly as possible. And once again, the one thing that we want to continue to emphasize is, just because you had an incident that was caused by potentially a manufacturer doesn't mean you shouldn't you should let up on your security. We immediately have rolled back out a clean CrowdStrike version so that we didn't have any bad actors come in and impact our organization. And if you watch the news today, you have a lot of individuals that are out there already exploiting this event. And we wanted to make sure that we were safe and secure, which is why as soon as we got I call it the gold version, we were re-implementing this across the county as quickly as we could.
Well, and we all do a lot of safety training, and now we're all really appreciative that we do it. For sure. We've asked you a lot of questions. Are there any additional questions from anyone on the call for Eric or his team? I don't see anything in chat. Anyone have any questions that they'd like to just ask out loud? It looks like we've covered it. Eric, thank you so much for jumping in. I know you probably are still working on this, but it's really great that we're able to give the community an update on what's happening with county services.
Well, thanks for having us, Maya, and thanks again to all of the staff and for making sure that we keep the county up and operational every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, on to another topic. Planning is underway for a roundabout, which will be placed at San Miguel Canyon Road and Castroville Boulevard. This project is going to be a big change in that community, and it is designed to improve safety. If you live in that area or you use those roads for commute purposes, there is a workshop on August 6th that you will want to attend. We have Enrique Saavedra, our Chief of Public Works, here to talk about the roundabout and what the value of this community meeting is going to be all about. Hi, Enrique.
Good afternoon, Maya, and again, thank you for inviting me to this I guess forum to speak about our projects. Like you said today, I want to invite the community to our workshop that we have planned for August 6th. And again, it's to review our plans and our analysis of this intersection, how we propose to address some of the deficiencies out there. Again, this is intersection is at the San Miguel Canyon Road and Castro Boulevard intersection. Currently, it's an unsignalized intersection that experiences quite a bit of congestion during the morning peak hours and the afternoon peak hours, and it gets share of accidents as well. So we have some ideas on how to improve the situation out there, and we've been working on this for a while now, and I think we're at a point we want to share some of our technical analysis and studies that we prepared as part of the design process. But now we're at a point where we want to, do two things: share with the community what we're doing, but also kind of get their input and get the perspective on the design to make sure that it's a design that takes account their point of view. Just to give an idea of what we're looking at, and just briefly here, I got an illustration on my screen I could share with all you to get a visual of what the roundabout may look like. Again, this is our...
Please, that would be fantastic.
Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen here. You can...
Yes, sure can.
I have an exhibit here that shows two alternatives that we looked at, and one of the ones that we're kind of settling upon is the one on the right-hand side. And here, just to kind of illustrate what I'm looking at here, is this is the intersection aerial of the intersection of Castro Boulevard and San Miguel. North is to the top of the page. So this is San Miguel, and this is Castroville. Currently, there's an intersection here, and we're looking to replace that with this circular or roundabout feature in the roadway. This will help, again, move the traffic we believe, in a more efficient and safer way, and help deal with some of the congestions and safety issues you see out there currently. And at this workshop we're having on August 6th, we will go into details of all the design and all the parameters we looked at. And again, we're happy to share that with the community and trying to get their input. And if you have any questions about the design, we'll be there. We'll have staff there. We'll have a project manager, Maribel Ramos Padilla. She's our project manager. She'll be there and happy to answer any questions as well, our consultant team. So
thank you, Enrique. I know there's when you say the word roundabout, sometimes there's trepidation. People are still getting adjusted to the roundabout thing, the style of it, and they confuse roundabouts with traffic calming and other issues. Have you already gotten some feedback from people in this area about sounds like they really want something, but is it a roundabout that is going to fit the bill?
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, everybody agrees that something needs to be done here to improve the intersection. We've looked at other things like traffic signals, but roundabouts is the newer feature. It's newer to us here in the United States, but I would say last 10 years, the number of roundabouts that have been implemented across the country have just ballooned. And it's for that reason, because they are provide a safer way to deal with the intersection conflicts with the traffic, moving across the different paths. They're more efficient in how they handle the traffic. So they have definitely some benefits of it over a traditional traffic signal, for example. So during the course of the workshop, we're happy to share all these details with the community. But we have got gotten community input about, is this the best solution for it, for this intersection? We think it is, and we're happy to show the community why we think this is the case. It is the first roundabout in this part of the county, so it will be new. But I'm hopeful that, with a design being as we think it should be, we'll be making it so it's safe and it's a sort of a intuitive as you drive through it, and it shouldn't be that much of a challenge. There's other roundabouts currently in Monterey County already. Like there's a couple in Marina, there's some in Monterey. So they're popping up and they're coming more and more common nowadays.
And people should know that one of the reasons why the roundabout is being considered is because of the traffic patterns in this particular area. North County isn't just for North County anymore. It has become a traffic corridor for a lot of people. And so people may think, well, why would we need a roundabout at this particular intersection? But there is just so much commuting going on in that area.
And that's true. And that's kind of the thing kind of you're looking at is the traffic patterns. There's a lot of commuters going from Salinas, the greater Salinas area, and Pajaro Valley and Santa Cruz counties in general. And there's only a couple routes to go, and almost all of them are congested. They're in peak travel times. And so then the traffic gets diverted off Highway 1 or 101 onto county roads like Samuel Canyon Road. And unfortunately for us here in the county public works, we have a number of dozens of residents who have driveways directly off Samuel Canyon Road. So we have sort of a conflict between folks who want to use the road to commute or travel through this area, and we have people who want to use Samuel Canyon Road just to go to work, go to school, go to the grocery store, and get out of their houses from the driveways. So we're trying to juggle those two things, and again, it's a process. It's not a quick fix by no means. And I think we believe this roundabout is a first step in that process.
So our community meeting again is on August 6th. And could you remind the location, please? I'm sorry, I don't have the graphic in front of me.
Sure. It's at the Prunedale Grange. It's on Morrow Road. The address is 17890 Morrow Road. This is just off Samuel Canyon Road on Morrow Road. It's at the Prunedale Grange, August 6th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And we invite all the public to be there, and be happy to get their input and review.
Thank you, Enrique. Any additional questions for Enrique? I know I had some which I have already asked, but are anything more anyone would like to ask or put in chat? Seeing none, I think we've covered it. Thank you, Enrique, so much for sharing this information. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Maya.
And now we have a representative from our district attorney's office. Our colleagues at the DA's office are warning us about scammers who are impersonating law enforcement officers. It is a trick to get personal information and money from you that you are thinking you're helping a loved one in trouble when actually you're becoming a victim. Chief Deputy District Attorney Emily Hickok is here to tell us how the scam works and how not to be fooled. Hi, Emily. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Maya. Thanks so much for inviting us. So I just wanted to give you a little bit more information about scams that have been going on in Monterey County and really all over the country. I'm a prosecutor in the Consumer Protection Unit of the DA's office, and we wanted to share this information because the best way to avoid becoming a victim is to be educated about these scams, to be on alert, and to hopefully talk to your loved ones, your elderly loved ones, and also your younger kids that are just starting to get cell phones and use the internet, so they can be aware that these types of scams occur and what they look like. So we've seen these type of scams take various forms over the years. Recently, we've heard that scammers have been impersonating law enforcement officials or other representatives of government agencies to trick people into giving them personal information, bank information, your passwords, send them money. And there's an unlimited amount of ways they can try to trick you. Some that we've seen recently is scammers contacting people over the phone or over the internet, impersonating federal agents. And they're telling people not to contact your local law enforcement about this, but that, you might be a prospective perpetrator of a crime and you need to give them money so they can go find the real person involved. Don't fall for it. You know, other ways we see these type of things are people impersonating government agencies like the IRS, saying that you're behind in taxes and you need to pay money immediately to avoid fines or fees, something like that. We've heard of scams that you might get a call from someone saying they're a police agent and that one of your loved ones has been arrested and you need to send money to post bail or they'll have to stay in jail. And in all of these circumstances, scammers try to pressure people into immediately divulging information or providing bank information, sending money, either sending gift cards or anything like that to get money. So you should be skeptical of any types of calls like this. Government officials will not call you and immediately demand the payment of money in any of these scenarios. If someone does call and do that, it's likely a scam. And if you're feeling pressured, you should feel free to hang up over the phone, or if you're being contacted over the internet, you should absolutely ask a loved one or contact law enforcement to ask if it's legitimate.
It also makes you wonder, how is it that they got my email to know? I mean, some of the stuff just sounds like, how would they have found me? So it's okay to think the one more step when you hear something like this, like, how would they have gotten a hold of me?
Exactly. A lot of our information is public, you know, through social media, through other variety of sources. And so really just be skeptical of those types of contacts, and be especially skeptical if they're trying to pressure you and you don't feel comfortable. If they're telling you not to tell anyone else about this, you know, be skeptical. Many times, you know, scammers can spoof telephone numbers, so you can't necessarily trust caller ID. If you are contacted by someone who says they're law enforcement, it's fine for you to ask for that person's name, title, agency, and then you can independently find the contact information for that agency and contact them directly, so you can be sure that you're talking to a legitimate agency and not someone that is impersonating the government officials. So again, please be vigilant of these scams. These have happened in Monterey County. Often scammers are overseas. So if you send money, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to recover that. And the best offense is just being aware of these and not falling victim to it. If you think you have become a victim of a scam like this, you should contact your local police department or sheriff's office, or you can also alert the DA's office, our Consumer Protection Unit. You can find our contact information on the Monterey County website.
This issue and others are important enough that you have a Consumer Protection Division at the district attorney's office. And I think people only think of the DA sometimes as just, you know, one kind of crime, but there are all kinds of crimes that you can prosecute, and you can go after people who defraud others, and people should feel confident in that.
Absolutely. And if you think that there is unfair competition or unfair business practices or other consumer fraud, you can absolutely report that to our unit. We can talk you through it. We can see if there's anything we can do, and we're happy to do that. We're really passionate about consumer protection, and we're happy to talk to people.
Thank you. That is all the questions that I had in at this point for you. Any additional questions for Emily about this most recent scam discussion or about the Consumer Protection Division? I'm not seeing any. We're going to do a follow-up with our media partners, and we'll get that email out so that they can share the Consumer Protection Division email with people. And I really appreciate you talking about these scams, because they do cycle and people hear about them, and then all of a sudden they get a call a few months later and they've forgotten that they heard about a scam, and this could very well be one of it. And thank you for encouraging people to be skeptical, because would you say that for law enforcement, if someone were actually talking to a real law enforcement representative, they would give their ID? They wouldn't mind if they called them back and verified that they really worked there. I think that's really the difference between real and fake.
Yeah, absolutely. And often, you know, in terms of the Consumer Protection Unit, we'll contact people by letter, and it would be no problem for a legitimate government official to provide their name and their business phone number and to be contacted back if a person is unsure if they're talking to a legitimate person.
And so I do have another question. Do you see an increase in these scams, or are you at this point trying to really remind people that they're circulating out there?
I don't know that I can say that there's an increase necessarily, but they're ever present. And when we hear of a particular scam, we try to warn people through our social media pages or through venues like this to ensure that people are reminded and stay vigilant.
Again, a lot of times you hear about it, but then time goes by and somebody cycles in with a new take on an old scam, and boom, somebody's gotten taken to the cleaners.
Right, that's true. And there's pressure, it's high pressure environment. And so that's why it's important to remember you can hang up, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you can always hang up and reach out to a law enforcement agency, reach out to a loved one, bounce it off them and see what they think. Google it. Scams are also on the internet. They're talked about, and that can help you identify if something is real or not.
Any additional questions for Emily before we let her go? I'm seeing none. Emily, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this. I've had family members who've gotten these calls. And so
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
I am, well, no, we're a little, we got it.
Good.
So I really appreciate sharing the information.
Thanks so much.
And finally, today we are going to talk about WIC, which stands for Women, Infants, and Children. If you don't know about WIC, you really should. WIC is a special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children, but it also provides critical breastfeeding support for mothers, which really can be a game changer if you are a new mom trying to navigate this. So we're very pleased to have Sylwia Klos. She is here to talk about WIC, its programs, food resources for family who is eligible, and also some fun events that are coming up. Sylwia, thanks so much for being here to talk about this today.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on this wonderful news call. If it's okay, I would love to share a little PowerPoint that I quickly prepared this morning.
Wonderful. That would be fantastic.
Thank you. Okay, just give me a second and you should be able to see. Okay. Let me just change the display. And can you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we also, yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
Got
Okay. Wonderful. So yes, WIC is a special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children under the age of 5. It is a program that is offered during the critical times of growth and development, and individuals that qualify for the program, they have to be at or under 185% of the federal poverty level. So what that means, for example, for a family of 4, in order to qualify, their joint income can't really go over $56,000 annually, which is really not a large amount. Our food packages, we call those food packages because every month a family receives a specific food package that they can shop for at the store, and they align with dietary guidelines for Americans and the infant feeding practice guidelines of the American Academy of Pediatrics. And as you see, there is a wide variety of food with flexibility in prescribing these food packages to accommodate for the cultural preferences. Let me see if I can just minimize this. These food packages are also recommended and based on the successful and long-term breastfeeding. So the nutrients provided, they're aligned with needs of the mom that is breastfeeding. And what's exciting in 2025, we will actually have more options to really customize these food packages based on cultural food preferences. So we are very excited about that. Every month, each family receives actual cash value benefits to be able to shop for fresh fruits and veggies, and you can see the numbers here on the screen, how much, depending on which category they fall in, they receive monthly. Now, WIC is trying to become more modernized. We used to use checks, but as of 2019, we actually have a card that participants shop with at the stores, and we also have an app that they use, and on the app, they can check when their next appointment is, what food balance they have each month. They can scan foods at the stores to see if they are WIC eligible, as well as other options that are available via app. And then for our Monterey County WIC, we are one agency that falls under the Monterey County. We have 4 clinics, with the largest clinic here in Salinas that is open 5 days a week. Second largest one is in Soledad, open 4 days a week, Seaside 2 days a week, and King City 1 day a week. Our caseload is a little bit over 16,000 individuals, and what that means is that we actually do serve that many individuals every month throughout our clinics. And as you know, this is a primarily agricultural community, Spanish speaking, and our WIC director, who I am filling in for today, is Naomi Hrepich. As far as how does WIC really operate, so I just want to share with you that each participant gets to have 2 in-person contacts, 1 every 6 months. And then in between these contacts, they take a class about nutrition. So it's both in person and online if they want to do the class online, but they are also welcome to come for in-person classes. And our classes are very interactive. Therefore, we actually have a very high attendance in the in-person classes. And those are just some examples that you can see what kind of classes we offer. And one thing that I would love to mention here is that our pregnancy classes are very comprehensive, with information about what to expect during pregnancy, what to expect postpartum, with an emphasis on breastfeeding. As I wish actually these classes could be offered everywhere throughout the community, as the information is fantastic. Additional contacts can be made with our registered dietitian, myself included, and that is for high-risk participants, whether it is a mom, a baby, or a child, and that really depends on the diagnoses. We might be seeing them on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or otherwise. And now when it comes to breastfeeding, as Maya mentioned, we are big supporters of breastfeeding. At WIC, we have lactation consultants who take care of our complicated cases, but we also have peer counselors, and those are moms that have experience with breastfeeding themselves, and they offer the peer-to-peer support for these moms that are pregnant and are planning to breastfeed, and then they are with them for 6 months postpartum, also supporting breastfeeding and being them whenever they need that support. We also have a regional breastfeeding liaison, and that is one of my roles, where I just collaborate with many agencies, hospitals, clinics, share resources, try to promote breastfeeding as much as I can. And all of our WIC staff is continuously taught about breastfeeding, and many of them are certified lactation consultants. And now for the fun things, we have breastfeeding walk that is coming up on August 6th. It is a big event for us. It is done annually. This is going to be our 17th annual breastfeeding walk. So we are inviting everybody to participate. We will have t-shirts, willing mobili. There's going to be many agencies sharing the resources within the community. Last year, I just wanted to show that our turnout was great. We had more than 350 people. With staff, there were more than 400. It was a fun time. Individuals were able to learn a lot of information about resources within the community. What else? Farmers market nutrition program. It is done annually. And what we are able to offer is during the months of June and October, we are able to offer additional $30 for a family per season that they can spend at the farmers market. And Monterey County, our agency, is #1 when it comes to redemption of these vouchers that are provided by the state. Additional options at the farmers market, and that is done through CalFresh, is a market match. So individuals who come to a farmers market, and the farmers markets that you see on the right side, those are all the ones that participate in the market match. They actually can spend money with their EBT card, and they the market match matches the amount of money that they spend up to $30 per day. So pretty much they're doubling their food. And then some other resources on the left side, you see Double Up Food Bags, and that is a program that offers individuals also shopping with the CalFresh card about 50% discount on produce that was grown in California. And there are specific stores that participate in this program. There's a QR code that offers these stores. And anytime when they shop, let's say they purchase $10 worth of California grown produce, they are able to purchase that at $5 discount. And then on the right side, you see a brochure that we put together for additional food resources within the community where individuals can go. As at WIC, we screen for various different disparities, whether mental health, food disparities. We then provide resources for our families as we want to make sure that they have access to other things than just WIC, as we are only a supplemental program. And I think that's pretty much it. So unless there are any questions, I just want to thank you and thank everybody.
Emily, I'm sorry, not Emily. Sylwia, thank you so much for sharing really a thorough look at WIC, because this is really a tremendous program, especially in the food resources part of it, because it's a win-win for people who really need resources, and these growers and people who, and these markets who are putting California produce right into the hands of people right here. And I would say everybody's just really winning all the way around.
Correct. I fully agree.
And I was hoping you would also describe the environment that WIC offers to women who come, because it's very daunting being a new mother or a second-time mother. Breastfeeding can be challenging, whether you're a first time, second time, and you really have a welcoming environment for women to come and get the support that they need.
Correct. We are there for them during this vulnerable state, whether they're pregnant or postpartum. Oftentimes, we are the individuals who are there to support, to understand what they're going through. We might be the individuals that they are just sharing additional information despite just the WIC information with us. And our staff is trained to be there for participants, to really just be the listening heart that they can talk to. And like I said, we offer resources to other agencies if that's needed. So we are really trying to be very welcoming as much as we can to the community. And we even welcome individuals that are not necessarily that they can't qualify for WIC, but for example, we provide breastfeeding support for them as well.
Well, I was a client, so I can tell you how much I love your program.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And that's why I know the supportive environment that you offer to women at whatever stage they're in. And sometimes it's just questions or what am I doing wrong? And frankly, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just not.
Correct.
So
It's
anyway.
just that assurance you're doing well. Mom might be breastfeeding, but she is not sure if she's doing a good job. We bring them in, we do a quick assessment, we show her that she's actually providing enough milk for the baby. We talk about how she can recognize how baby is getting enough milk through breastfeeding. And these moms that might be coming frustrated, stressed, they actually leave with smiles on their faces, which is very heartwarming to all of the staff.
And they didn't give up either. And that's what's fantastic. So if someone was wondering if they were eligible or wanted to sign up and participate in WIC, what should they do?
they can go on our website, for example, wicmonterey.com, and there is a tab, Apply for WIC. And on that tab, they will be able to find out information, whether they can qualify or not. I can also share a phone number where individuals can call here in the chat if they have questions how to qualify as well.
Thank you. And Sylwia, thanks so much for being here talking about WIC. I'm not sure I have any additional questions about WIC. We really look forward to the walk and health fair. People have no idea how big that is because there are 400 people, in women and family members and strollers going around the neighborhood and having a fantastic time. So I really encourage everyone to come out to that event and see what's happening and take advantage of all the great information.
Thank you so much, and I would love to invite everybody as well.
And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.